Pretend like you're talking to the blender there.
We lived at Rayburn. When I was about 8 years old, I used to ride a bicycle 6 miles and dip turpentine put it in a gallon syrup bucket and told it to the barrel, empty it out, and when it had come Major's Creek, always when it rained, it just overflowed and went way steep. Had a cable running a foot log across Major's Creek, and then had a cable crossing. And walk that foot log and hold on to that cable to go across. Oh Lord! And it wasn't nothing funny, man.
How many years did he do it, Grandma? How many years did he do turpentine work?
Oh, from started working with my daddy. See, I was next to the oldest one in the family, and me, and then Lillian, and me, and then Bud. And Bud used to take him along with me because I was afraid that Mama had so many young'uns to take care of, and so I'd take Bud with me to be with me in the woods of working, and he'd put his hoe down. I was learning them how to rake boxes, and he hung his hoe up in the tree and lost it. And I walked 6 miles to work and 6 miles back, and I got a piece. I had a paper, had it made when Jeff died in 1930. I moved to Foley from Port Arthur, Texas, and I went to work for the government sewing room. That was hard times in 30. That's what it's going to get back to now, I'm afraid. I worked for 15 cents an hour. 80 hours a month is all I was allowed to work, 15 cents an hour. I walked 6 miles up there and sewed, and then walked back home. I got a nigger girl take care of Eula and Buck, and Eula was 11 and Buck wasn't but 7, and I got that nigger girl, and I had to give her $3 a week, give her all the money I made, but I got all the goat meat, commodities, and everybody, every nigger and every white person got a dress or a shirt or something just alike. And my daddy was driving, we were living at Tenshaw, and he was driving oxens and hauling logs, and I got a picture of the old log cart and the oxen, and he'd drive right along the road, and there were deer and the turkeys would be right side the road, and he'd cut the heads off with an ox whip. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, tell me how you got the turpentine, Grandma.
How you got it?
Yeah, didn't you tap the tree or something like that?
Yeah, I had they chipped the tree like a cat face, and I put up a mini cup, put up the 10, and one on one side, one on the other, just like that, and then you put a cup underneath that tin, and they chipped that tree, and the turpentine would run down in that cup, and then when you went to dip it, when it filled up, about every 4 weeks, and then you'd turn it and take it off and take your iron paddle. I got a little paddle, old cup too, there at the house that we used to have. And just empty it over, rake it over, and then take it to the turpentine barrel, walk a half a mile sometime, and
dump it all together in the barrel.
And empty it out of the bucket you was putting the turpentine in at the over end of the barrel, and you got it full. You could tell, Pop said me and Jim Merchant was the best people he ever had to work for. We could dip 2 barrels a day.
Tell her how much you got per thing that you fixed. Did you get it by Didn't you get paid by how many you fixed? How many
5 cents a bucket.
Yeah, but how many boxes that you chipped? Didn't they pay you for
Oh, I
chip
never
box?
chipped no boxes.
didn't?
No, I never chipped. Oh, I just chipped to learn how, 'cause Papa's sisters, they chip boxes and pull boxes. Now that pulling is easy because you can swing down on it and scrape boxes and take old scrape iron and have your big old box about that and scrape it full. It weighed about 100 pounds. And you had to pull that thing to the barrel and empty it in a barrel. It wasn't, that, I imagine about $5 much as Papa got a barrel for it then, but when he quit working turpentine, it was bringing about $60 or $70 a barrel. He'd make $500 a day. But he had to haul it to Mobile, had Bud and Buford, and I even worked in Turpentine Woods after I got pregnant with my first baby.
How'd you haul it to
I
Mobile?
was 18 years old.
How did they take the turpentine to Mobile?
With a truck,
They had a truck.
yeah, had barrel. He'd carry 7 barrels. He'd hire different ones, the Lipscombs and different ones, the Theosteins, and different ones to carry to Mobile.
Did Grandpa ever know how to drive a vehicle?
Huh?
Did your daddy ever drive a vehicle? Did he have a car?
Yeah.
He owned a car?
Yeah, on the truck. Oh, he had about when we 1920. I got married in 1920 at the courthouse in Birmingham, and he bought a Ford, T-model Ford, and then he went into taxi business. Oh, he man made money, I'm telling you, and he run a cafe and Carrie worked for him, and Atmore run a cafe up there, and so Bud he turned the truck over on the Larndine Hill. You know where they come out from where Melly and Loopy used to live into the highway, and he was drunk. Bud was, and turned that truck over I don't know how many barrels of turpentine on it, and cut Charlie's muscle or Charlie's leg off, turned the truck over in that turpentine and decided just cut the whole muscle of his leg off and throwed Buford plumb over, put them all in the hospital, but that was after we moved down. We didn't move, we moved from Atmore to Escatawba, Alabama in 1928, and Buck was born in 1927, and that was 1928 when we moved up there, and he went to work up there, and all of his folks followed him because they were turpentine people, and we stayed up there until Buck's daddy went to Texas and got a job with the road crew. We was only getting 50 cents an hour, and it taking and nearly everything. Well, everything was so cheap to live, and so he went to Port Arthur, Texas, and went to work for $6 a day, and he take pneumonia and then went in on Christmas and died on 26th day of February. And Buck wasn't but 2 years old, and I had to raise him in Eula then. Papa come out there and got me and made me come home. I had a good job offered to me, and my daddy's brother's wife would have taken care of the brother's son's wife is where it was we were staying with, and she'd have kept the 2 children for me to work, and so Papa come out there and made me come home, and Then we moved to Marlow from there. Then that's when we went into the cutting paper wood and loading barges and putting the younger ones in school, keeping them. That's where they got the education. I stayed and worked for and let them go to school. But Lord, no. I don't see how my poor mama lived. She had all them 12 young ones, but I mean, when they started passing away, I mean, they like they all passed away in just a few years.
When did they move to this place down here where you're at now? When did your family move down here to where you're at now?
Let me see. They moved from the old dip vat over there on where I don't know who lived, what Lipscomb lived up there, but it's on this side of where Clyde and Elsa lived, up there on the corner of the road where they make that turn and living where they're at now. It was in 38 when Papa bought that place down there, bought 33 acres for $35. They own the creek. And so he said that he wanted each one, there was 10. There's 10 of us young'uns living then. And he wanted each one of the young'uns to have 3 acres apiece. That's what he figured it out to be. He never went to school a day in his life. Mama went, she learned what she learned. She learned it in the Blueback Speller. It had everything. It didn't have but just the one book. And so it was in 38 and he bought that place. Well, I done moved to Texas and my husband died. He'd buried out there, Buck's daddy. And so we come back here and I waited 7 years. I was afraid if I ever married again, they'd mistreat my young'uns and I wouldn't have that. And so I waited 7 years. He died in 1930 and 37 I met Brady. And Bodie and Meader said, why don't you marry that woman? She needs help and she got them 2 children. And I wasn't ready to get married then, but he was so good to me. So we got married on the 22nd day of May of 1937. Waited 7 years. And then he let me catch him with Buck's wife, and I'll run him off. I wouldn't say him, or James could hear, because we got along too good. But I told him, I said, I want to see my young'uns as long as I live, as Buck and, Bo and Bobby and Eddie, because I raised Eddie from 17 months old. I could take him down and beat his butt sometime. Oh, he makes me mad sometime.
Well, tell me the story about how Bobby's mother. Tell me the story about how Bobby's mother went deaf.
How did Eula get deaf?
Huh?
How did Eula lose her hearing?
We moved from Rayburn to Nokomis, Alabama. You don't know where that's at, but it's 3 miles back towards Bayman from Atmore. And we moved up there, and Pop was still running turpentine business, and Jeff, he was a wood rider. You don't know what a wood rider is, but to ride around and keep the men a working in the woods. And so I had a good friend living up there, Daisy Morris, her name was Morrison, and at a little old depot there in Nokomis, and I had Eula all dressed up, and it was on Christmas Eve day. And I didn't know Mama had given her some, you know how dried peaches is, and apples, and Mama was cooking up stuff for Christmas, and I didn't know she had been in the kitchen where Mama was at, and I had her ready to go to Atmore. We caught the train there 3 miles from Atmore, and went into Atmore, and she was scared of a train. That thing would just blow, and then I was just scared to death about it. She could hear and talk. She could talk, say, good as any 3-year-old young'un could talk. And me and Daisy was crossing the railroad track in Atmore, and that train come blowing in. She just went to jumping and drawing back that way, and her head drawed back on her back nearly. And we wasn't over 50 feet from the railroad track to the first drugstore. And Daisy said, let's turn in while the trains are going by. I said, let's go back to the drugstore and see if they can give her something, see what's wrong with her. And she was having a spasm then, scared her to death nearly. And she never did speak another word. And so she...
How old was she then? How old
3
was
years old.
3.
And so we moved to Atmore then, and stayed up there until 1927. 1927, Buck was born. We moved to Pensacola, and Nolan and Carrie's husband and Buck's daddy was moved to a shingle mill where they built barrels to put scrape and turpentine in. And he, so we moved from there back to, let me see what the name of the place is, right on the other side of Atmore. I don't forget what the name of the place was then. And so my third baby, a third baby was Alice Ellen was oldest one. She was born 1921, and Eula was born 1923, and little May was born on Christmas Day, the 25th of December 1925, and then the 29th of April 1927, Buck was born. And then after me and Brady married, had a miscarriage right down there back on this side of where Joe's is living. And that was, so after then I never did get pregnant no more. And
What happened to your other children, Grandma? What happened to your other children? Like the first baby you had?
What caused your other babies to die?
Well, the first one, I got pregnant right after it wasn't no time when after the first one was born. She had colitis and pneumonia. I didn't know which was living right, that Mama's, and she was taking care of her, still taking care of me, like tell me what to do. So, but I was nursing the young people raised bottles of their babies on the breast then. And no such thing as giving them a bottle, give them a sugar tit made with a piece of cloth and put some biscuit and sugar on it and let them suck that to keep them quiet in a place of giving them pacifier. And she died. She just lived to be, let me see, 3 months old. That was my first baby. And then the next one, Eula was born, but she was all right when, but H had spasms. She was 3 years old. And then I had another baby then.